Hi, this is a short response to Don Cherry. I'll stick a few relevant links in the description below. I'm an immigrant, and I'm an immigrant who never has and never will wear a poppy on Remembrance Day. So in one sense, I'm the kind of immigrant that Don Cherry was talking about, but in another, much more important sense, I'm not the kind of immigrant that Cherry was talking about. I'm not the kind of immigrant that gets asked about where I'm really from, or if I came here illegally, or what my real name is, or what I am. Sure, I have a bit of an accent, but it's not different or obvious enough for people to see me as anything other than white. And it's in that sense that I'm not the kind of immigrant that Cherry was talking about. Unapologetic bigot that he is. The poppy came out of the idea that wars like the Great War, World War I, should never happen again. And that's marvellous. It's great. It's bullshit. And it's nothing but jingoism and nationalism at this point. But I'm sure that it's great that everyone wears a poppy. To remember the troops or some shit. When people blather on about how those soldiers fought for our freedoms, I have to wonder, who the fuck are you talking about? After the Great War, the League of Nations was formed to ensure that such a thing never happened again. Ireland, the nation that was under occupation for 800 years by the British Empire, petitioned the League to be recognised as a sovereign state, to be freed from British exploitation. They refused. I guess those soldiers didn't fight for Irish freedom, even though many Irish signed up to fight in Flanders, seeing the struggle of those in Flanders as parallel to our own. You see, in 1919, after the war, the very soldiers that had fought for our freedoms were deployed in Ireland. These units wore a mix of their army colours and were known as the Black and Tans. Yes, that shitty drink that's in so many pubs in Norway is named for a British occupation force. There was also a separate auxiliary division made of British Army officers that were deployed in 1920. This is in the midst of the Irish War of Independence. In 1920, on November 21st, the IRA, a legitimate resistance force at that point, this is not the terrorist organisation that came later, assassinated a team of undercover British intelligence agents working and living in the war. The IRA members killed or fatally wounded 9 British Army officers, a Royal Irish Constabulary officer, 2 members of the auxiliary division, 2 civilians, and another man who is believed to have been an intelligence agent. 15 people in all, the vast majority of which were military. In retaliation, the auxiliary division and the Black and Tans, that is to say British Army officers and British soldiers, opened fire on the crowd at a Gaelic football match in Croke Park, killing or fatally wounding 14 civilians and wounding at least 60 others. That evening, 3 Irish Republican suspects were being held in Dublin Castle and were beaten and killed by their captors, who said that they were trying to escape. You don't have to ask me to remember what those soldiers that fought in World War I for our freedoms have done. I am never, ever going to fucking forget. But perhaps those of Chinese descent should be thankful for being allowed to enter Canada, after paying a head tax. Or how about the people of Indian descent? I guess I shouldn't mention the Indian Exclusion Act that forbid them from entering Canada, nor should I mention the Komagata Maru incident. But I'm sure that Canada treated the black folk here well. Surely their freedoms were fought for and protected. I mean, the NPA only destroyed the only black community, Hogan's Alley, in Vancouver in 1917, but they were pretty fucking free all the same, right? And last, but certainly not least, tell me about the freedoms that natives in Canada enjoy. How their water is largely undrinkable. How they are generally treated like shit. How it is that I'm living on their land, that their treaty rights are entirely ignored. That this occupation continues, and people all over this continent have the fucking gall to talk about remembering those who fought for our freedoms. Please. I'm granted certain freedoms in Ireland because my ancestors shot enough British soldiers, those that fought in World War I, to get them the fuck out of Ireland. I am granted certain freedoms here because I share a skin colour with the dominant ethnic group in this country, and because they finally decided that the Irish are also white. I am granted many of these freedoms despite the actions of soldiers in the employ of the British Empire, not because of them. As a final point to the bigots and nationalists that will object to this on, no doubt, shitty grounds, I'll put this to you. If it's true that none of us is free until all of us are free, and I believe that it is, then what did those soldiers die for? Nothing.